Hello there, folks. It's your friendly neighborhood news explainer, back at it again with another deep dive into the wild world of international trade. Buckle up, because today we're talking about the US and China, two economic heavyweights finally calling a truce in their long-standing tariff war. This ain't your grandma's bridge game, folks. This is a high-stakes showdown with global implications. After months of back and forth, the two giants finally inked a deal on tariff reductions. Now, I know what you're thinking, tariffs, John. That sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry. But hold your horses, because this is actually a pretty big deal. It's like finally hitting the snooze button on an alarm clock that's been going off for years. The deal, my friends, aims to ease the economic tension that's been building up like a pressure cooker. It involves both countries agreeing to lower those pesky import taxes. You know, the ones they slap on each other's goods. Imagine walking into a store and finding out everything's on sale. Well, not everything, but you get the picture. This means American businesses can breathe a sigh of relief as their Chinese imports become a tad cheaper. And hey, China gets to sell more of its stuff to the US of A. It's a win-win, or at least that's the hope. Now, this whole thing isn't exactly set in stone just yet. There's a 90-day suspension period built into the deal. Think of it as a trial separation before the divorce is finalized, except in this case, both parties are hoping to reconcile. During this time, both countries will try to iron out the kinks and come to a more permanent agreement. If they fail, well, let's just say things could get a whole lot messier than a plate of unattended noodles. This tariff deal, my friends, is more than just a bunch of numbers on a page. It's a sign, a beacon of hope in these uncertain times. It signifies a de-escalation of the trade war that's been raging between the US and China. Remember those dark days when every other headline screamed about trade wars and economic doom? Yeah, well, this deal is like a ray of sunshine breaking through those storm clouds. You see, this trade war wasn't just a squabble between two countries. It was a global issue, impacting everyone from farmers in the American Midwest to factory workers in China. The whole world was caught in the crossfire. This deal, however, offers a glimmer of hope that maybe, just maybe, we're on the road to recovery. Now, I'm not saying everything is hunky-dory just yet. This is just the first step in a long and winding road towards trade peace. There are still a lot of issues to be resolved, a lot of differences to be ironed out. But hey, at least the two sides are talking again. They're sitting down, negotiating, and trying to find common ground. And that, my friends, is a beautiful thing. This deal is a sign that both the US and China understand the importance of a stable global economy. They realize that this trade war isn't good for anyone, not for them, not for their people, and certainly not for the rest of the world. It's a recognition that cooperation, not conflict, is the way forward. Now, before we all break out the confetti and champagne, let's address the elephant in the room, the trade imbalance between the US and China. You see, this whole trade war started because the US was buying a lot more stuff from China than China was buying from the US. It's like going out to dinner with a friend who orders the lobster and caviar while you stick to tap water and breadsticks. In 2024 alone, the US imported a whopping $440 billion worth of goods from China. That's everything from smartphones and laptops to clothes and toys. Meanwhile, China only bought $145 billion worth of stuff from the US. Mostly soybeans, pharmaceuticals, and petroleum. That, my friends, is a pretty significant gap. This trade imbalance has been a major sticking point for the US, and it's not hard to see why. When a country buys way more from another country than it sells, it can lead to job losses and economic instability. It's like trying to fill a bathtub with a thimble while the drain is wide open. Now, China argues that this imbalance is simply a reflection of market forces. They say they're just good at making things that people want to buy and at competitive prices too. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good bargain? But the US counters that China's trade practices are unfair, that they give Chinese companies an unfair advantage. So, we've got a truce, a de-escalation, but let's not kid ourselves, folks. There are still some serious issues simmering beneath the surface. This trade deal, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. It might stop the bleeding, but it doesn't fix the underlying problem. One of the big ones, that whole fentanyl thing. You see, the US is pretty peeved about the flow of this deadly drug across its borders, and they're pointing the finger squarely at China. They claim China isn't doing enough to stop the production and trafficking of fentanyl. and they've slapped an extra 20% tariff on certain Chinese goods to show they mean business. Then there's the whole issue of intellectual property theft. The US has long accused China of ripping off American companies, stealing their ideas and technology. Imagine spending years developing a groundbreaking new product, only to have someone else copy it and sell it for a fraction of the price. Not cool, right? And what about the impact on global shipping? This trade war has thrown the shipping industry into a tailspin. Remember those massive container ships stuck at ports, unable to unload their cargo? Yeah, that was fun. This deal could help stabilize things, but it's still a bit of a wait-and-see situation. So what does the future hold? Well, folks, if there's one thing we've learned from this whole saga, it's that predicting the future of US-China trade relations is about as easy as predicting the weather in a hurricane. This current deal is a step in the right direction, but it's just one step on a very long and uncertain road.